Really not much. I just dropped a video a little bit ago talking about the Helldiver situation, and then when I was talking about Xbox laying on some more studios, I see that we are back on the console war stuff because people are pretty upset. And like I said, rightfully so. I think the Xbox community does have the right to be upset because they were lied to. They were lied to in this situation, and now a video with Sarah Bond is circulating, and it was a bunch of PR talk on why the studio is closed down, basically blaming the shareholders. He was basically blaming the shareholders for it, and I'm like, that's what happens when like you do too much. I feel like in this situation, Microsoft threw way too much money out, and they need to figure out like how to handle things within their own home. You took two really premium studios, and then the smaller studios that you had, you essentially let them do whatever they wanted, which is great, like you said, because we wouldn't have gotten Hi-Fi Rush if you would have commanded the smaller studios to do what you want them to do, rather than them to make whatever projects that they want to. But when you have big missteps like Redfall, for example, which people have been really diving into as to why this happened. Yes, Redfall didn't sell well, but definitely not the only reason. It is a reason, and it probably might be the biggest reason if we are comparing all the studios, but it's definitely not the only reason why these studios ended up closing. But same old PR talk. Same old PR talk, man. Going on, Paladin? Like I said, yeah, 343 is still open. I mean, regardless of how Halo Infinite ended up falling off, and now that they're trying to come back. I don't know, maybe people still playing it, but Xbox is still an iconic franchise, even though 343, in a lot of people's opinions, aren't doing the best job with it since they've inherited it from Bungie. But I don't think that they're going to shut them down, because that's still one of their, again, I guess we can say the Xbox had like a big three, like Halo, Gears, and Forza. That's their big three. So like they're not going to do anything. Like I said, the worst that would happen would be that Halo goes to another studio. But what studio would get Halo at this point? For what Microsoft had, but Bethesda's not getting it. You're not gonna give it to Activision. That would be insane. So like, I feel like they're kind of stuck, right? They're just kind of stuck. You're not going to get rid of them, but it's like, what are you going to do with it? So they're just going to keep going as long as they can with the live service aspect of Halo Infinite. And then, whenever it gets to a certain point that the player base is just completely eviscerated. Like I said, I don't know how it's doing competitively. I would love to see how it's doing competitively, because I know like there are still tournaments for it. So that might be honestly the one thing that's keeping it afloat. It's just a competitive scene, because there are organizations that have Halo teams. So who knows? At least I forgot Halo was a game. Damn. The studio. Yeah, I mean that's not a bad one. That's not a bad one. They could help. But taking the full reign, that's kind of what I'm going to. Taking the full reigns, I don't know. Halo Infinite had so much potential. It did, man. Like I said, I was so freaking hyped. For Halo Infinite, but yeah, it just, like I said, the content just was not coming out fast enough. What up, Jesse? You think 343 did good work with Halo, but the live server angle was really a dumb decision because gameplay, they rocked it. Yeah, like I said, I didn't have a problem with the gameplay. I did not have a problem with the gameplay at all. It just got super stale. I just got tired of playing the same maps in rotation. And then, by the time that the majority of the player base died down, that was like a week, 2 weeks into it. Like I said, they made a huge splash bringing it out like as a surprise. They made a huge splash bringing it out as a surprise. But yeah, it just, I don't know. Like I said, just content wise, they just dropped the ball. They dropped the ball on. How many maps they released with? Like 10? I think it was like 10 maps. It was like 8 regular multiplayer maps, and then like two or three big team battle maps, if I'm not mistaken. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was 10. It was like either 10 or 12, but very little. Let me see if I can look it up just so I can get everything accurate. How many maps launch with? Let's see. Google will tell me. Yep, 10 maps. 10 maps. I was right. Yep, 10 maps. I thought I remembered 10 maps. and 2 of them were big team battle maps. I want y'all to keep in mind, 2 of them were big team battle maps. So we were rotating 8 maps for regular multiplayer. 10 freaking maps. Yep. And they didn't have Forge. Forge is huge in the Halo community. Huge. What grade would I give Phil Spencer for his senior season? I will give him a B-. I will give him a B-. I mean, the grade is going down, as you can see, but he wasn't a bad CEO. He actually, again, was very forward facing. He talked to the community, and this is what I was saying with the difference between Microsoft and Sony. Like, Microsoft has that forward facing person, and now forward facing people who, at least, you know, even though it's a bunch of PR bullshit, at the end of the day, like, they still talk to the community. So, like I said, that's what I liked about Phil Spencer. I don't think that he was a bad CEO. But obviously he's not getting the A grade. Like, the grade is gonna have to go down because they lied. What up, Jet? They lied. So who knows? But anyways, like I said, talk about that a little bit, but it's not really anything new. As far as that news, it's just more bits and pieces are coming out as to like the insider information, because they're never going to give you like the real reason. They're never going to say straight up why these companies got shut down. They're going to give a bunch of PR. They're going to pass the buck, because Sarah Bond and Phil Spencer would never say, and Aaron Greenberg will never say, hey, it was us, like we did it. They're going to blame the shareholders. Of course, they're going to say it was the shareholders' decision. So I did say he did a good job with PR. Yeah, he definitely did a great job with PR, but it was just, I think, the last year leading up to this year, with studios getting closed and people getting fired, and then the big reveal of certain games going third party. I think that was the real nail in the coffin. Again, that's not 100% Phil Spencer's decision, but when you're looking at the forward-facing people, and that's the bad thing about it. It's like, yeah, you could be forward-facing, at an executive role, but when things like that happen, then people are going to automatically look at you like you made the decision. So that's the bad thing about it. But like, I will never be upset at executives for any company being forward-facing, because I feel like that's needed, because a lot of these companies, you just have the execs at the top. You don't even know their names. You never see them, and they're just making dumb decisions from behind their desk, up in their shiny tower, and you never see them, never hear from them, and they're just making decisions, or having people under them make the decisions, take the full brunt of the blame. So, but yeah, you can't PR out of that. Xbox bought on companies just such, yeah, that's why people are truly upset. It's like, why would you do all of this? Why would you buy all of these companies, acquire all of these companies, when you just going to ultimately shut them down and then say, hey, it's not my fault that we did it. It's not my fault. It's the shareholders' fault. That's what I really don't. It's like, you all can prevent this, but again, the bottom line, common denominator is always the money. Not making money. You gotta shut them down. And now we gotta look at the Game Pass. I'm gonna have to have a real conversation with Ethos, the Game Pass Messiah, the Game Pass Bishop. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with him on the podcast. We're actually gonna record the next podcast this Sunday. But I'm gonna have to have a conversation, because I think that the Game Pass is slowly declining now. And I think that even though the Game Pass started off with the bang, I think now it's going to start losing them money. And I think it already has started. And I think this is why they made this decision to shut down these studios. You got to cut your losses. That's what all these companies are doing. You have to cut your losses. And I think that the Game Pass, even though it's not going to get cut, because it's still a great service, on the surface level, but if Game Pass does not see a profit, if it doesn't go back to at the peak of its popularity, then prices are going to be raised. Prices are going to be raised. It's going to be inevitable. That shit gonna be like $20 for Ultimate by the end of the year, if we don't see a significant change in profit, in ROI. So We'll see. But yeah, don't be surprised at the end of the year it's like $20 for Ultimate. Do not be surprised. You heard they made 1% net profit for 2023 Q4. Yeah, the numbers are coming out. The numbers are coming out. So, like I said, from an executive standpoint, from a company standpoint, I understand, but that does not mean that it's not messed up. And according to public opinion, all of us looking in perspective, it looks messed up, especially when you said earlier that, we're not going to shut down any studio. Like, people are pulling up. I got the files. People got the files. They got the videos. They have the tweets of you all saying that you weren't going to shut down any studios. You were saying that Tango was doing a great job with Hi-Fi Rush. And, even they were, very happy. They were posting their accomplishments for how many downloads that they got on Game Pass. And, we even talked about it on the podcast. So just to see this turnaround when I feel like Tango, like Hi-Fi Rush got the worst treatment. I can understand Redfall and Arcane Austin, but Tango, like, y'all came out with a banger. It was an amazing surprise hit. People revered that game. People loved that game. So that was the really messed up thing. That's the thing. I was just like, what? That was a surprise for me. That was definitely a surprise for me. Even if that was their only hit that they would ever come out with. I'm like, damn, you ain't got to shut them down. Like, I wonder what else that they were potentially working on. That's my question. What else were they potentially working on? Because I just don't see you coming out with a banger like Hi-Fi Rush and then having nothing to follow up with. Like, so what were they doing? Or like, were you having them work on something, or were they working on something else on their own? Like, that's the thing that I really don't understand. And Arcane Austin, I'm like, damn, okay, Redfall was a flop. Y'all want to make something else? It was just like, damn, when it done, this shit sucks. It didn't sell. Bye-bye. Like, did they give them a chance? I want to know, did Microsoft give them a fighting chance? So that's really my question. I don't know. I mean, the article in February that the numbers grew to 34 mil. They didn't give them a chance to clean up. Yeah, like, it's had this weird expectation of Game Pass being able to pay for everything. Yeah, it sounds like Microsoft got a little bit too greedy, and the ego went up. They were like, man, Game Pass is doing great. Like, look at our competitors. Sony can't do this. Sony tried to copy us, and nobody's even investing in their service. I want to know. I need to actually look. I need to look into Sony too, with what's going on with them, because I haven't heard anybody, even Sony fans, like, I don't think that anybody invested into their live service. I don't think anybody invested into their live service. So I want to know what Sony doing with that. That they just take it to the back quietly. So I don't even know. But yeah, Game Pass, again, it started off very, very well. It started off very, very well, but it's losing money now. So Ubisoft always tries to clean up the live service games after the fact. Yeah. Watch out for Team Ninja. If they mess with Team Ninja, because I almost forgot. Like, I don't know how I could freaking forget, because Hellblade is coming out in a couple weeks. So we gonna be on that, chat. We on that. Yeah, Hellblade's in a couple weeks. So I'm going to be playing that for sure. I'm going to be playing that for sure. If they mess with Team Ninja, bro, they gonna have to see me. They gonna have to see me with these hands. I ain't playing with them. Don't mess with Team Ninja. Don't mess with Team Ninja. I know the first Hellblade that came out got a lot of marketing, so they better be reminding us. Cause like I said, I almost forgot about Hellblade. They better market Hellblade. The playoffs are going on, so I better see some commercials. During these timeouts. These basketball games, the NBA game. I'm trying to see something, I'm trying to see something. But anyways, yeah, so that was just a little conversation. On TBA. Better hurry up. I know. He ain't even gonna hop on it, man. I told him he need to play Hellblade. I'm gonna remind him too. He need to play the first one, because the second one about to come out.